Welcome to the Miniatures Paintbrush. Today we're going to talk about edge highlighting and how you can get great effects by using the edge and not the tip of your brush. Okay, so here we have a hex wraith that I'm trying to paint up here. And I finished up the horses, the mounts, and now I'm actually doing the riders. And I'm using a lot of things that I've never used before. The first, which I just showed you on screen, was that glaze medium from Vallejo. It's in a 100% acrylic resin. And what I have been using in the past to dilute my paints was a 10-to-1 flow aid mix from Liquitex that I picked up, and I still have some. And that works, but I'm trying to find, I like to do a lot of glazing, which is slowly building up the colors that it's almost transparent in paint. So this way I have all the control, and I can slowly build up layers to the opacity that I'd want. And to be opaque means to cover completely. And when it's less opaque, it's transparent. So basically a whole bunch of layers of transparent paint until it builds up to a solid color that I want. And the reason why I do this is because, well, there are a lot of times where I make a lot of mistakes. And if I just make one mistake, it is not really a critical error. It's something that could be covered by another layer. And if it's a transparent mistake, then it really isn't that bad, and I could really just touch it up and fix it up. So I'm trying to make the painting a bit foolproof, because I certainly make a lot of mistakes, and I'm always going back and very fearful of making the mistakes. So I really try to come up with a plan where, if I do make a mistake, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I can keep going. So this is the first time ever using this glaze medium, and I gotta say, I really do like it. I like the way Vallejo mixed in with other Vallejo colors so far. It's the only ones that I've ever used it with. It worked out so well. I'm going to make sure that I kind of always have the glaze medium on hand. Now, I don't know if other glaze mediums are better in other brands. And if you do know of a glaze medium that's even better than the Vallejo one, leave a comment down there. Let me know. Let me know. So here, I base coated the green flames in Vallejo model color acrylic flat green, which is more of a military kind of color. But I do like the color of this green. While I was looking at all the colors that I have, see in the beginning of the video, they're behind me, and I kind of just go for the look and what I feel was like. Now, I used color theory to pick the colors. I knew I wanted to go with a black to a violet or a light purple, blue violet, and transition step by step from black to that. And I knew I wanted this to pop. And the reason why it's popping so much is because green, or light green, is on the opposite end of that blue violet on the color wheel. What that means is that that's the color that's going to pop the most in contrast to the color that I selected. And that's exactly what I wanted to go for as a fantasy miniature. I just wanted the colors to stand out and pop. That's what people say when they mean pop. They want it to really, really stand out. Sorry for the miniature being off camera. I will realize that there's a problem and bring it back up in just a sec. There it is. Painting with a camera is interesting, that's for sure. It's not very natural, so you kind of got to keep the miniature a little away from you, kind of gauge where you are. Usually I put the miniature really close to my face, but then I would be blocking it with my head, which wouldn't be good. So I started off with this flat green color, right? And what you're seeing, that light green color that I'm putting in, is Vallejo game color, and it's Verde Escorpina. Good thing I know how to speak Spanish, right? because it's a Spanish company, which means Scorpina green or scorpion green. And that's a great color. I really do like the way it's so light. I really do like that. Now, recently I bought an ink from FW, and I want to try to do possibly another painting tip on with inks, but I need a collection of them before I start it. So, maybe I'll just get a color every week or so and build up different colors and then just try them on miniatures. I heard it's great. In fact, I was watching and if you don't watch this channel, you really should subscribe because I think it's amazing. Tabletop Minions, and there Sam Lentz, he uses FW inks. I've seen on a tutorial of his, and his results are spectacular. So I really want to try that, and that's an avenue I care to venture towards. But in this instance, since per painting tip, I kind of want to try something new each time. I've heard a lot about edge highlighting, and the reason why they call this edge highlighting is because if you look very closely, I am not using the tip of my brush. I'm off to the side from the tip, and I'm using the tip to guide where I'm laying down the paint, and I'm gently going back and forth in that motion until I start seeing that it covers. And what this does is that it catches the edges, the sharp edges of whatever that you're painting. So if you have some sharp edges and you need to paint a straight line or paint along that edge, then it is a lot easier if you use the edge of your paintbrush and not the tip of the paintbrush to get that line across. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, there's a larger surface area when you're doing the edge. So the paint is distributed to the belly of the brush more evenly, and that's the middle of the brush. So this way, when you lay it down, it kind of does an even coat, and it's only going to get the most raised edges. Now, be careful. You don't want to load your brush too much, because if you do load your brush a bit too much, then what's going to happen is it's going to spill all over the item, and you're going to have a mess. So there has to be a happy balance there. So what I have on my wet palette in there, and if you want to know about wet palettes, I did do a video about them as well, but it mimics other stuff that other people have done. I'm definitely not the originator of it. I have a video, and it should pop up right here. And it's really easy to make a wet palette and very, very cost effective. You can buy them. They do sell wet palettes, but I prefer to make them. Have that sense of accomplishment, I guess. Anywho, what is on the wet palette is that the flat green, there's a black, and then there's a Scorpina green, that light green, and that's to the right, lower right-hand corner. See those three colors. Now with the Scorpina green, or the Verde Scorpina, I have just the paint unthinned, and then I have a splash underneath there, and the splash contains 1 drop of water, 1 drop of glaze medium, and 1 drop of Scorpina green, which dilutes it quite a bit. But I wanted it to be a little thicker, so what I do is you could see me dip my paintbrush into the undiluted one and then back to the diluted one, and I go back and forth with that until I get the consistency in which I like, and I test it by or take off paint from the brush by going to the cork on the bottom or that tissue on the side, and I kind of take the excess off till I feel comfortable with it. Now this knowing where I feel comfortable with it, that took years. Honestly, I did not come overnight. So you have to play with it. Mistakes abound, but you learn from your mistakes until you find your happy medium. And everybody's is kind of different. I kind of just like it that it covers in 2 shots and be done with it. Now, what I also do is when I do make mistakes, because they happen. Because when I'm done here, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna clean up any kind of like overbrushing that I did. And what I use is Citadel's my model shade, Colia green shade. Now, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, that's a shade. I don't use shades, or I'm stopping to use. I'm stopping using shades the way I normally do to get just dust in the recesses, unless I directly place it into the recesses, because I kind of do like using oil washes a little bit better with mineral spirits. There are a lot of benefits with that. And I'm going to do a tutorial or a painting tip on using oil washes as well. So that's coming up in the future. So here I am using, and I just take it straight from the pot. One part on the top with the black. There was a dot that was bothering me, and I'm going to clean that up right now and dilute it. And that on the wet palette has been there for like at least a week now, and it stayed wet because I cover the wet palette, so this way it stays moist. So I was thinking about none oil there, and I picked the wrong one. There it is, Coalia green shade. And I'm going to use that to get into the recesses of just the green. You see that first part there that I'm going to hit right now. The top there, I put a little bit too much green in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put some in the center and kind of dilute that down. So I can get the line that I want, so it can appear to be a thin line instead of a thick ball of green there. So it took a couple of passes, but I got to it, and this is how I do it. Remove the excess and hit all the areas that have any overages, and take your time when you try it. And when you try this technique, let me know how it came out. Talk to me in the comments. You can leave a comment if you tried out this technique. How long did it take you to find your happy medium with how much paint do you want to load the brush with? Yeah, we have that new Citadel brush that I'm using. When I say new, I've had it and been intimidated by using that brush because I've paid so much and it was an investment for. I bought it in, I think it was 2002. Yeah, 2002. It's 2017. So yeah. I've had that for quite a few years. Now they have different style brushes, but this is the first time busting these out and trying them out for the first time. Just make sure that no paint goes to the bottom of the brush, right where the metal meets the brush, because that'll ruin your brush. So make sure that you keep an eye on that. And if it gets close to that, rinse it out immediately, get it dry, get a tip, and start over again. So just be careful with that. Okay, and keep care of your brushes. I think I'm going to do a tutorial or a painting tip on that brush care as well. All right, well, this is looking great. Really, really touched up and pretty darn cool. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. See you on the outro. Peace. Oh, well, this rider is looking good. As a painter, you're always trying new things to get better and improve on. So I keep on looking up these different tips and tricks that I wanted to try myself. And I'm actually trying at some of these techniques for the first time here on camera with you. So this is a learning process we're doing together. Well, I hope this tip was helpful. If you like this tip, then please give me a thumbs up. If you want to keep seeing the content that I put out, please hit the subscribe button. Comment, question, leave it down below. And the best thing you can do for my channel is share it with other people who might enjoy it. Well, I'll catch you next time on the Miniatures Paintbrush.